Hey guys, Sethly here, back with another Apex Legends video. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now today's video, we're going to be going over the exact changes and patch notes that did come out with this new event update. Bloodhounds Trials, or Bloodhounds Trials is actually the town takeover name, but the actual update is called the Old Ways event. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So starting off with duos and map rotation. Starting on April 7th, today, duos will be added to the game alongside trios, as well as a permanent map rotation that gives players the ability to play duos or trios on Kings Canyon and World's Edge. Now they have given us a little bit more details as to why they did this, as well as an addition that I didn't really expect. So they said, since the launch of Apex Legends, we've introduced duos a few times as a limited time mode, and overall it's had a positive effect on the game's health in regards to queue times and gameplay systems, in addition to reinforcing team play, something that is a paramount to every design decision they make for Apex Legends. So with the 4.2 update, they are excited to be adding it as a permanent mode alongside trios, while obviously duos will not be available in ranked. But they also said, now what about solos? When they introduced solos as a limited time mode last year, they saw it actually negatively impacted the game, especially when it came to new player retention. They've also purposely designed Legends and their abilities to complement team play and squad composition, but when played solo, some Legend abilities become useless. These are just some of the reasons they decided not to include solos in today's update. They're still exploring ways to allow a solo experience, but for now, grab a friend or two and jump into the arena. They also said they know players want to experience map variety when playing Apex Legends, so the 4.2 update will introduce map rotation that will include the current version of World's Edge, Kings Canyon Season 2, and Kings Canyon After Dark. Ranked play will remain on the map dedicated to where we are in current series, which is currently Kings Canyon. They also say they want to keep queue times as short as possible, which is why they decided to go with rotation versus selection, as we believe selection could have a very negative impact on queue times across the world. They'll be keeping the maps on a fairly quick rotation and tweaking it as they study the data and listen to your feedback. They'll also be introducing other versions of previously released Kings Canyon and World's Edge maps into the rotation from time to time to keep it fresh. So as of right now, you can play duos or trios on Kings Canyon After Dark, or World's Edge. Now this is going to be consistently rotating in a certain amount of time, so each map you will have a certain amount of time you can queue up for that map, and then after I think like 20 or 30 minutes it's going to rotate to the next one. I'm not 100% sure since I haven't tried it out, but it is like that. Now onto the new town takeover, Bloodhounds Trials. They gave a short description of it, but you guys should just go ahead and check it out in game. And now onto the real balance changes, which is what I am most excited about. Starting out with the G7, they made some big changes to the G7. They reduced the headshot scale from 2.0 to 1.75. They also reduced the leg shot scale from 0.9 to 0.75. They also slightly reduced the projectile speed on the G7. So it does look like we have a pretty decent nerf to the G7, which I think is probably about where it needs to be. But on to the L-Star, they did make some changes to the L-Star. First off, the L-Star will reset its view kick pattern much more quickly to avoid horizontal recoil, feeling like it goes at an unpredictable direction while feathering the trigger. They also reduced time before it overheats from 2.4 to 2.2, so now every 23 shots instead of 25 shots it will overheat. So that is a bit of a nerf, but the top buff is a bit of a buff, making it so it is easier to control when you are feathering, because the direction it is kicking in is a lot better as of right now. They also made a change to the Kraber. They increased the headshot damage multiplier from 2.05 to 3. So now it should always down a target with a headshot, even if they are a fortified character with a level 3 helmet and a full Evo shield. But now onto sniper ammo. They did make some changes to sniper ammo. So now they reduced the ammo per pickup from 10 to 8, and they reduced the inventory stack size from 20 to 16. So you're going to be finding less sniper ammo around the map, and you're going to be able to carry less in your bag, which is a bit disappointing, but I think it's okay, although I do believe it kind of is an unnecessary change. But now onto something I'm actually really excited about, which is a change to low profile, which is a specific passive that is on certain legends like Wraith, Pathfinder, and Revenant, similar to the fortified passive that is on Caustic and Gibraltar. So they did make a change to low profile. Now limb shots on low profile legends deal as much damage as body shots, which is actually pretty huge. So if you shoot a legend in the limb, it's going to do as much damage as it would if you shot them straight in the body to anybody who has low profile, which I think is going to be pretty big. I think it's actually going to be honestly kind of hard for Wraith mains to be playing now, but we'll just have to wait and see how big of a change that actually is. But now to one of the changes that I'm actually most excited about, which is Revenant. They're making some big buffs to Revenant. So they said Revenant, player feedback that Revenant wasn't feeling viable enough has been loud and clear, and game data showed the same. Their goal is to bring his effectiveness up to par with other legends. So starting out with his silence ability, they increased the duration of the status effect from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. So now that status effect is going to be around for quite a while. As well as the silence now disables Gibraltar's gun shield, which I think it should have done from the start. So I'm glad they did make that change. And they also increased the duration of area of effect from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. So now that AoE will actually affect people for 10 seconds instead of 5 seconds now, and the silence has 2 charges now, so you can throw it twice, which is absolutely huge. So they made some big changes to his tactical, some big buffs, but they also made some changes to his death totem, obviously his ultimate, which is great. Characters are now respawned with 50 health instead of 1, so thankfully they made this change. I've been begging for this ever since the game came out, or ever since Revenant came out, that they need to make it so players come back with more than 1 HP if they use his totem, and finally they did do it. Characters are now respawned with 50 HP or whatever health they had when it was activated if it was lower than 50 already. So that is absolutely huge for Revenant, and not to mention they did actually make one more buff and one more change to Revenant besides his tactical and ultimate. They actually removed low profile off of Revenant, which I think is absolutely amazing, especially with the nerf, I guess, to low profile, where it's actually more damaging to players who have low profile or legends because it does the same amount of damage as body shots for leg shots. I'm really glad that they did remove low profile from Revenant at the same time as they made that change, because it would have been really bad, especially with the fact that Revenant's hitbox isn't all that great as of right now. I never really thought he deserved low profile, but finally they did remove low profile from Revenant, which is absolutely amazing. But they did also make quite a big buff to Lifeline. They gave her a new secondary passive. Lifeline can now access secret compartments with more loot on blue bins. So blue bins are found randomly replacing ordinary bins. These rare bins will have a secondary compartment that only Lifeline can open. The secondary compartment will always contain some mixture of health items, weapon attachments, and knockdown shields. I really did think Lifeline did need some sort of buff, but I wasn't too sure as to how they should go around doing that buff. But I think this is a great addition with this new secondary passive for blue loot bins. Now again, this passive, this new buff for Lifeline only works on blue loot bins, but it is a nice addition for some extra loot. Now on to Wraith. So they made it so her portals will now disappear after 4 seconds if both ends are outside of the circle. Now this change was made to combat players exploiting the portal to avoid taking damage outside of the ring, which I think this is a good addition. It's not really going to change too much, because if both ends are outside of the circle in those late circles, it doesn't really even matter. You're already going to take huge damage even if you go out for a few steps just to get to one end of that portal. Although I think it could affect professional play a little bit, we'll just have to wait and see. But now onto Evo armor. So they reduced the amount of damage required to evolve on all levels of the Evo armor, which I think is great. So now the blue armor damage requirement was reduced from 100 to 75, the purple armor damage requirement was reduced from 300 to 150, and the red armor damage requirement was reduced from 500 to 400. So honestly pretty big, and it looks like the Evo shield is going to be a lot better now, which is great. But now onto King's Canyon and King's Canyon After Dark, which are both now in the permanent map pool. They increase the total amount of loot items mobs that spawn in the map, which I think was very much needed since the map density or the loot density on the map really hasn't been that great for King's Canyon, especially in ranked compared to World's Edge. So I'm really glad they made this change. We'll just have to wait and see how the loot density is as of right now. There were also a ton of bug fixes and quality of life changes. I'll show those on screen right now for you guys, but make sure to let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all of these changes. I really do want to hear your thoughts and opinions on the changes to characters and the buffs and nerfs. I want to hear what you guys think, so make sure to comment that down below. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button. It really does help me out a ton. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. But it's been your boy Sethly, and I'm out.